Well, the main corridor through my old neighborhood is coming back to life. 6th Avenue being reborn. We're going to talk with Laura Peters and Aaron Todd about that today. Also, Donna Redwing with One Iowa will join us to talk about mostly progress on the marriage equality front. And of course, it's Friday, so crazy old Heather Ryan is with me. Heather Ryan and I will be talking about Medicaid and some related political hot buttons.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Ed Fallon here, folks. Gateway Market and Cafe is your locally owned source for specialty groceries. Enjoy chef-crafted, prepared foods, artisan-baked goods, organic produce, specialty cheeses, and hand-selected wines and craft beer. Visit the lively cafe for breakfast, lunch, or dinner 7 days a week. Gateway Market is centrally located on the corner of Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway and Woodland Ave. Stop by or visit www.gatewaymarket.com for more details. That's Gateway Market, folks. Good food, great community.
This moment of silence brought to you by Tally's Restaurant Bar and Catering, home of Des Moines' premier rooftop dining experience. Located in the heart of Beaverdale, Tally's offers speedy and affordable rooftop lunch, catering for events both large and small, innovative cuisine, as well as vegetarian and gluten-free menus. Come to Tally's for live music, dry-aged steaks, Sunday brunch, and all-you-can-eat ribs every Monday night. Tally's Restaurant Bar and Catering at 2712 Beaver Avenue. Call 279-2067. That's 279-2067.
On March 28th, Equal Justice After Hours is Iowa Legal Aid's annual fundraiser that helps provide access to justice for low-income Iowans. The event includes a reception and program at the Temple for the Performing Arts in Des Moines. It also includes remarks by Georgetown University law professor Peter Edelman and the induction of Robert Oberbelly into the Iowa Legal Aid Hall of Fame. Tickets start at $50 and sponsorship opportunities are available. Contact Terry Bennett at tbennett@iowalaw.org. That's tbennett@iowalaw.org.
Ludwig van Beethoven here. I used to be so tired all the time, not from composing and playing, but from moving my piano. But now I feel so much better. I call S&P Piano and they will bring my piano anywhere. They also sell and rent pianos, used ones, new ones. You get the idea.
Call S&P Piano right away at 208-6453. That's 208-6453.
S&P Piano.
Times are tough, and most people are just trying to make their cars last a little bit longer. That's why you should know about Sargent's Garage in Des Moines. You can trust Sargent's to make the right diagnosis and give you a fair price. Whether it's a routine oil change or a major repair, Sargent's always does outstanding work. So don't give up on that old car just yet. Call Sargent's Garage at 246-8149. That's 246-8149 for Sargent's Garage.
Nestled in the heart of downtown, Ritual Cafe is one of Des Moines' most unique places, offering a wide variety of coffee and tea. Ritual Cafe also serves the only all-vegetarian menu in town. And Ritual Cafe is a cultural hub for artists and musicians, with a performance stage hosting local, national, and international talent. Make Ritual Cafe a part of your daily ritual. On 13th Street between Locust and Grand in downtown Des Moines. And check out ritualcafe.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Well, ain't that a fine tune, folks? That's Brother Truckers Downtown. And we're talking about today just north of downtown. That'll be happening in just a minute here. I want to thank the Iowa chapter of the Sierra Club and Iowa Physicians for Social Responsibility for being sponsors of the Fallon Forum. And I want to thank Sargent's Garage for sponsoring this segment of the show. I want to take a quick look ahead here so you know what's coming up next. I'm going to warn you right now, folks. Heather Ryan's going to be with us today. It's Friday, and we're going to talk politics and particularly Medicaid and Governor Branstad. Is this an Iowa version of Custer's Last Stand? He's the only guy left on his side of an issue, and apparently everyone else thinks it's the wrong side. We're going to talk about Medicaid, and Heather and I might dig into some other issues as well. Donna Redwing with One Iowa also going to join us. We're going to talk about some progress on marriage equality. Although, of course, there's always some people who want to take it the other direction, and yeah, some of them are in the Iowa House. So we'll talk about that as well. But first, we're going to talk about my old neighborhood, 6th Avenue. The main drag through where I lived for 19 years, it's coming back to life. Now that they got me out of there, they can start cleaning the place up. Aaron and Laura, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
So what in a nutshell is happening? This has been a work in progress, but where are we at right now?
Well, we've got a lot of momentum going on in the neighborhood right now. We're pretty excited about where we are. We have been working on a streetscape project for a couple of years, and actually the 6th Avenue corridor was initially founded to focus on that effort in particular. Since that time, we've expanded our efforts. We're doing a lot with public art, with the Greater Des Moines Public Art Foundation.
Okay.
We've got a very successful Jazz in July event that happens every year annually, where over 1,000 people have come into our neighborhood to enjoy live art and
I've been to that.
Cultural.
It's 6th and College, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to one of those concerts. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been great. And so I'll let Laura talk a little bit about kind of the streetscape project in particular that's had a lot of good press here recently.
In September, it was announced that we were the recipient of the Greening America's Capitals program, that the city of Des Moines has received that assistance.
That's from the federal government?
From the federal government. It's not direct funding, but rather technical assistance that's been provided to us. A design team pairing from Omaha and Kansas City have been selected. They were here earlier in February and did a 3-day workshop.
You couldn't get somebody from Iowa? Had to go to Omaha, Kansas City?
Federal contract.
All right, well, we won't even okay, I know how that works, but it's unfortunate. But I guess they're our neighbors, so that's not so bad.
Sure.
At least they're not from California or some godforsaken place like New York.
Right.
Anyway, so they're helping to lay out the design, and I assume there's a lot of input from residents from the neighborhood.
Absolutely, they had 3 days of workshops. The first day, we had quite a bit of attendance from the city, the business owners, a lot of the stakeholders, and then we also had a community meeting in the evening where we had a lot of the neighbors show up and give their input. And there's tremendous excitement. People just can't wait to see something in the ground. It's been, I think, in the works since 1998 was maybe the first plan in the city of Des Moines.
Well, and I remember when I was in the legislature at that time, I remember talking about expanding the Main Street program, which used to focus strictly on rural communities, which it's a good program. But we thought, well, why not also allow it to help urban main streets, which is essentially what that 6th Avenue corridor is.
Right. We're one of 3 urban Main Street districts in the state of Iowa. There's another one in Cedar Rapids and one in Davenport. So we do work through the Main Street 4-point approach for kind of a comprehensive revitalization strategy. And with the Streetscape project, we do have, here's our concept plan that was approved in October. And so we've gotten quite a ways with getting the city council support to move this project ahead. And then, like I mentioned, we partnered with the Greater Des Moines Public Art Foundation. We held very intensive focus groups through our neighborhood. We met with a lot of different diverse groups that maybe sometimes haven't participated in community meetings. We went to them instead and said, we really want this to reflect the diversity that surrounds this street and the River Bend and surrounding neighborhoods. That's good. What would you like to see happen? How can we take that message and insert it into these plans? So,
in some ways, what you're doing is repairing damage. Because years ago, back when that neighborhood was the gem of Des Moines, well, back when it was a separate city, in fact. Many people don't know that the inner city was actually its own city at one point, back in the through the late 1800s, maybe.
Right.
And then at that point, of course, you had, probably a 2-lane road, sidewalks that were functional. And then, of course, when it was decided that, well, the world needs more pavement, we need more roads for more cars, where do they take it from? The parking strip vanished. The sidewalk pretty much vanished. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you some amazing stories of trying to navigate that sidewalk. I mean, I raised 2 kids in that neighborhood. You try pushing a stroller along a sidewalk with a 6-inch parking strip, I mean, maybe not even, actually maybe less than 6 inches in some places, with a telephone pole in the middle of it. Yep. I mean, it's horrible.
Or someone in a wheelchair.
And I've seen folks in wheelchairs.
So yes, there's a lot that's about kind of improving the appearance and aesthetics and public art, but a lot of it is about plain safety issues of being able to walk down the street without cars whizzing by you at 40 miles an hour, running into utility poles, and those types of things.
Yeah. And it's a very pedestrian-oriented neighborhood. There's a lot of folks who, well, some just like to walk, but again, there's a lot of residential around there. Some folks don't have cars. some folks we don't want having cars.
Yeah, we're very welcoming of pedestrians, transit riders, and cyclists.
Yeah.
So see a lot of cyclists coming down 6th Avenue.
Good. Well, and when I used to bike from way up in Urbandale at night after my program when I was on WOW, I would come up 6th Avenue. It's not a bad corridor for bicyclists.
Well, we've got that great trail connection just on the other side of the bridge, along the Des Moines River.
And is the eventual design of the streetscape going to include a bike lane?
It isn't. We unfortunately don't have the same
It
amount
isn't?
of right of way.
Man, throw these people out of my studio. I can't believe this.
However, so we're very limited in our right of way. As an example, Ingersoll has 40 feet more width than we have to play with.
This is true. Yeah.
So we did prioritize widening sidewalks, but we are going to be painting sharrows all throughout the lanes.
Painting what?
Sharrows.
Sharrows.
So it basically is a physical painting on the ground that says bicyclists are welcome in the lane to remind drivers.
Okay, that word is not yet in the Webster Dictionary, is it?
I don't know. It might be. You know, in
I'm gonna
community
bet
planning,
you it's
it's used.
not. Sharrows. I've never heard of this one.
Yeah.
Sharrow.
So
okay,
sharing
got it.
the lanes. So.
All right. Now, yeah, and I've seen a few of these. So,
And we have a couple of bike lanes that will be intersecting 6th Avenue at Hickman, at College. And so we want to make sure people will come in. We'll have bike facilities, places to hook up your bike.
So there will be bike lanes on Hickman and College. Okay.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yep.
All right.
Or
Good.
Forest, maybe. I mean, we have a couple of connections coming in.
Yeah, Forest makes sense. So, okay, beyond the streetscape, I mean, that's kind of your focus, Laura.
Part of it, again, being part of the Main Street organization and following the 4-point approach, we also take a strong look at promotions, which has been our Jazz in July event, and looking at incorporating some other events. And then also working with partnerships, developing strong partnerships that have accounted for all of our successes. And then business improvement and working with the local businesses in the corridor to make sure that those are stable and, what can we do to bring more in.
So Laura serves as our executive director. She just started last September.
That's where the buck stops.
Yeah. And I'm the founding president of the board currently.
So in terms of the rest of the built environment, I know there's a lot of open spaces on the street. There are some. There's been a lot of revitalization at the what used to be the old town center for North Des Moines at 6th and College. That's where Sergeant's Garage is too. But you've also got the old town hall, which I believe is still a dive bar.
It's actually kind of vacant at
this
point.
Well,
in need of rehab.
Every good neighborhood needs one bad bar, though. All right. So, and then you've got some businesses across the street that I think are doing pretty well. So is there more business development planned for that corridor?
There is some. NDC, the Neighborhood Development Corporation, we hope in the near future will be building out the rest of that block that you're referring to at College and 6th. We do have a really great project proposed. Hatch Development Group has proposed a set of brownstones as well as live-work lofts at Forest and 6th. So this will likely bring in or attract artists or small entrepreneurs that would have the first story be their kind of office or retail space and live above.
Nice. So across some urban dreams.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're really excited about that project. It'll be a great infill urban development.
Yeah.
Multi-story.
What other changes might we expect along the street?
I think one of the other exciting pieces is art. Do you want to talk a little bit about the public art event coming up and then the bridge art that's proposed?
Sure. Aaron has mentioned that we've been working with the Greater Des Moines Public Art Foundation. We've had a long partnership with them for the last several years. We're also have funding from the Iowa Arts Council and Polk County. We're bringing an artist team. They're coming this Monday, March 18th. We're having a community meeting in the Wary building, which is the building right at 6th and College.
A team of artists.
A team of artists.
I didn't know that artists could get along with each other.
They are Argentinian born. Their names are Rosario Marcourt and Roberto Bejar.
From Miami.
They're architects by training and are known, I guess, throughout the world. Jessica Rowe speaks very highly of them. And they're going to be having a community meeting to get input on a vision of what our new public art piece should look like there at 6th and College.
All right.
And these folks had come in where the Greater Des Moines Public Art Foundation is going to commission a very large regional art draw on the bridge over 6th Avenue that was recently redone.
Okay.
And they had brought this team and a couple of other artists in to propose something for that bridge. They came in, met with the community and said, you know what, we're actually not going to submit. We just feel very differently about the community, but we'd like to come back work kind of at the grassroots level with the community about how we could do some more integrative art concepts as we move the streetscape project forward.
This is interesting to me, the whole project, because I don't imagine there are any opponents. Is there anybody saying this is a bad idea, we can't do this?
Not that we're aware of.
Yeah, and I didn't think so, because how can you object to making sidewalks safe to walk on? Improving the beauty of our neighborhood. I mean, yeah, and most people, even if they don't appreciate public art, at least tolerate it. They don't have objections to it, unless it's maybe Mapplethorpe or somebody, I don't know. But, so it's interesting to me that there really is nobody opposed to this, but it's taken so long to accomplish. I mean, I lived in the neighborhood back in 1987, and, we would talk about this and talk about it. And maybe that's really how these things change. It starts with just people talking amongst themselves, trying to bend an ear here and there, and eventually you develop enough momentum. It's that snowball that eventually rolls, and you guys are just pushing that.
Well, one of the challenges, of course, with these types of projects is it costs a lot of money. We're talking about what is referred to as kind of a road diet. So we're moving curbs and sidewalks and streets. But one of the reasons why we created the 6th Avenue corridor was to say we need a consistent advocate that will kind of serve as the hub to make sure we're moving all this forward. Right. And so I think that's another reason why we're successful is we've got that dedicated group of people that are meeting on a regular basis and making sure this progresses.
So it's going to take ongoing involvement, engagement. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if people want to get more information, if they want to, in some way get involved, I'm sure you could always use volunteers at times.
Absolutely.
What do people
We'd love
do?
to have some volunteers. If you'd like to go to our website, that's www, and then it's the number 6THAVEDSM.org. Gives a little bit more information about our organization. It tells you how you can contact us. My email address is director@6THAVEDSM.org.
So you can reach Laura Folks at director@6. That's 6THAV.
Yes.
DSM?
DSM.org.
And the website is 6thavdsm.org. Okay.
Yes.
Well, exciting stuff. I am thrilled. And again, I'm a little offended that it had to happen after I moved out of the neighborhood. But I understand, get the blight out of there first, and then you can start moving forward.
Always come back, right?
I can always come back, yeah. No, it really is exciting to see it moving forward, and I do look forward to the improvements. I mean, we're going to be keeping an eye on them over time, and I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful addition to the north side of Des Moines. So thanks so much.
Thank
you.
Yes, and thank you to Sargent's Garage for sponsoring this segment of our show. Sargent's is in that corridor. They're right to the east of 6th Avenue at 6th and College. Graham Gormley is the owner, and he has worked on 4 generations of Fallon mobiles, and they have all thrived. And the current one is thriving so much, it's, 23 years old. No, more than that. It's old. And it's got 237 miles on it, and Graham just treats it with TLC, and it keeps moving forward. Anyway, you should give them a shout, folks. They do really, really fine work, have been there for a long time, and are a great asset to the community. That's Sargent's Garage at 510 College Ave in the north side of Des Moines. We'll be back in a few minutes. Donna Red Wing's going to join us, so we're going to talk marriage equality.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
The dawn of a new era begins. morning. This is the 7th of June in the Lord's year 2010, and this is day 1 of webcast1live.com. We will begin with Max World Live with my special guest, Tom Coates. In just a minute, there's Tom. Wait. Howdy. And we will be live for the very first time on Webcast One Live. Someday we're going to look back on this and say, gosh, remember that old day in history? Wonder where Walter Cronkite was. He must have been around hanging there too. But actually, it's the beginning of Webcast One Live. And thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob Spearman, and everybody who's put together this project together. And we're ready to go live now. So thanks for listening to MaxWorldLive.com.
I can't tell you that it's going real well from time to time, but it is going, man.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Max Wellman, folks, and we are back to our conversation here on the Fallon Forum. I want to thank Gateway Market for sponsoring this segment of our program. And I want to welcome Donna Redwing to the conversation. Donna is with One Iowa, and we are talking marriage equality. Donna, how are you today?
I am great. How are you, Ed?
Good. How's my favorite Iowa Red Sox fan?
Very well, thank you.
Let's see what happens this year, huh?
Hey, we can always hope.
I don't know if I recognize the team anymore. Well, anyway, there's probably more good news on the marriage equality front than there is on Red Sox Nation front. Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Who knew? Who knew?
He says, undo what I did is basically what he's saying.
Yeah. September 21st, when 1996, right? He signed into law the so-called Defense of Marriage Act, and he's come around. He's taken that journey, and he's come around to realize that that was unconstitutional. I think the fact that he is willing to say that, and is willing to say that very publicly and very loudly, says a lot.
And we also have key Republican leaders around the country who are also coming out in support of marriage equality. That is unprecedented. That would not have happened last year.
No, it wouldn't have. And I think, I look at our friends in the Republican Party. They're where the Democrats were, quite frankly, 20 years ago.
Yes.
And they're on that journey, and some because
they're just a little slower than Democrats, apparently, at least on this issue.
On this issue, yeah. But, as some of them come out, people like Ken Melman, who, came out and actually did some great work here in Iowa around marriage, as people begin to just understand what this is about. It's about people. It's not politics. It's about, whether I can marry my partner of 26 years.
Yeah.
And I think as people come to that place, they will more and more come out in favor of marriage equality.
Yeah.
And it will, I think, in our lifetime, it will no longer be a red nor a blue issue. It'll just be what is.
Yes. And I'm surprised, actually, that the Republicans coming out in support of marriage equality have not gotten more pushback from the fringe of the party. And they have certainly got some, but I'm surprised it's not more. I'm surprised it's not burning up the airwaves.
Yeah, we'll probably see more of that firebrand response as we get closer to, the caucuses, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
don't you think everybody's kind of holding their breath and waiting to see how the United States Supreme Court will rule?
Yes, and when is that going to be? Remind me.
we will have a decision late spring, early June.
And that's a decision on. Is it on the Prop 8 from California?
It's on Prop 8
okay.
and the so-called Defense of Marriage Act.
Right. So we'll have two rulings
Yep.
this summer.
Yep.
Yeah. And what if you can talk us through some of the possible outcomes of a Supreme Court ruling either direction? What are we looking at potentially?
I think we're actually looking at the right decision on both, which would just open everything up.
Really? Even among a conservative Supreme Court?
I think so. I think so. That's my prediction. But of course, I am a Red Sox fan. So.
Well, yeah, you could be more foolishly optimistic and be a Cubs fan. But,
but really, everything I've read, everyone I've talked to, folks who know the court so much better than I, there's absolute kind of positive energy here. People think this will happen. This is it.
And if the U.S. Supreme Court rules favorably against DOMA and on Prop 8, then basically that will allow marriage equality, allow gays and lesbians to marry in states across the country. Is that true?
It will allow states to allow marriage across the country. The Defense of Marriage Act prohibits the recognition,
right,
federal recognition of marriage. So, for example, when my partner and I get married on the anniversary of DOMA, September of this year.
Nice.
Yeah, nice touch.
Yes.
With DOMA, we would miss out on about 1,600 federal benefits. Our marriage would not be recognized. And so as we grow older, which we are, when we start looking at Social Security benefits, even widow benefits, right? All of that would not be accorded same-gender couples.
Right. But what you're saying is, though, if the court rules the right way, then even in states that have been vocally opposed to marriage equality,
marriage could be a reality. Yes.
Could?
Yes.
What's preventing it from just?
It could. And what's preventing it now is that so many states now have a DOMA-like legislation that doesn't even allow same-gender marriage.
But if the court rules the right way, won't that be unconstitutional?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, that the federal ruling overrides the state statute, and gays and lesbians in those states can get married. If the Supreme Court goes the right way.
If everything goes the right way,
okay.
There is the possibility that everyone can get married.
Right.
But we're getting into we're getting into state rights, federal rights. I mean,
right.
It gets really complicated. But,
right. Okay.
I hope I live to see the day, when same-gender couples can get married in Idaho and in Alabama.
Well, one more. I want to talk about the Iowa scene, but one more question at the beyond our borders. Colorado.
Yes, Colorado just and with some support from Republicans and a lot of support from Democrats, just passed a resolution around civil union. It's not marriage.
Right.
It is not marriage.
But I mean, and is that a lateral movement or is that a step forward?
I think it's the only step they thought they could take.
Okay.
However, given the anticipated Supreme Court ruling, I wish that they had gone for marriage.
Okay.
But again, I'm not living in Colorado, and I'm sure all of the folks there knew exactly what they were doing. I think once we have a Supreme Court ruling, I think they'll go for marriage, of course.
Okay. Now, and interesting, too, another indicator of how the climate is changing across the country. Again, it wasn't that long ago that Californians voted against marriage equality. And polling now shows that they are rapidly and significantly moving in the other direction. If the Prop 8 vote were taken today, it would have been the other way.
You're probably right. And in some parts of the country, if there were a vote today, I think there would be very mixed results. And it really depends on where we are. Here in Iowa, the most recent polling shows a plurality supporting same-gender marriage, but not a majority.
Right.
But many, we have those folks who are conflicted, who have not decided where they fall.
But I have a feeling that if the Iowa legislature were to eventually eventually authorize a vote of the people on the issue, I have a feeling that the people of Iowa, the voters of Iowa, would vote to uphold the Supreme Court ruling. But we probably won't know because I don't think that's going to happen. But that doesn't stop some folks in the Iowa House from trying. What specifically are they trying to do up there?
Oh, in the Iowa House
Yeah.
and Senate, actually.
Oh, is it the Senate?
Yeah. In last month, 18 Republicans in the Senate sponsored a resolution that would authorize a statewide vote to prohibit same-gender marriage.
So that's 18 out of 24 Senate Republicans,
right,
basically coming out against marriage equality.
Right.
I mean, that's what's implied.
Right. And then in the House Joint Resolution 11, there were 35 co-sponsors of a similar bill, but that was only 35.
Yeah.
And then that was followed by House File 444, which is really, you remember the old saying, if you can't go through the front door, go through the basement window, right?
Right. So this is the basement window bill. What does it look like?
It would restrict counties from issuing marriage licenses to same-gender couples. And
how would it do that?
It would it would not allow the registrars to issue marriage licenses.
Well, how is that constitutional?
It would prevent the courts. It would prevent the Supreme Court, actually, from prohibiting or ruling against the bill if it passed. So it's absolutely unconstitutional.
Well, sure, yeah. It looks like it's absolutely, yeah. It's just, I mean, it's meddling in the judicial branch in a way that our three-tiered system of government does not allow or
exactly.
Condone.
It's grandstanding. It's what worries me. They're not going anywhere. They didn't get through funnel week. They're not going anywhere. But when these resolutions are filed, then there's discussion and there's public conversation. And so people, whether it's some, senior citizen gay man living in Southwest Iowa or some kid living up in Sioux City, hears this conversation, this narrative about some people being less than, about some people being the other, different from, and that's damaging.
Well, here's the silver lining in that cloud, in my point of view, Donna. You've got 18 Republican House members and 6 Republican senators who are not on board the anti-equality crowd. That is progress right there. And I presume there are no Democrats signed on to either bill?
I have not seen a Democrat,
okay.
no.
So that's great. And then within the Republican fold, the fact that you've got 6 out of 24.
That would not co-sponsor. Now, if there were a vote, I think some people would cross that line.
Good.
Because it would cross, in support of the bills, because that's where their party may want them to go. But you're absolutely right. Things are changing.
Yeah.
Things are changing, and we are seeing more and more Republicans just being much more, just really considering the issue and just being much more thoughtful and intentional. And we really applaud that.
Now, obviously, in the Senate, the bill's not going anywhere.
No.
What about the House? I mean,
it has stalled.
So the Speaker of the House, the Republican Speaker, decided not to bring up the bill.
It has been stalled. Now,
okay.
Who knows what can happen, in our legislature. There could be some, procedural attempt to revitalize it, but we don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah. Is Speaker Paulson, again, also a Republican? He's not one of the 35 who signed on to it?
You know what? That's a good question.
Well, the fact that it hasn't come up inclines me to believe he isn't.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I think the anti-marriage forces raise their heads again, but the number is diminishing, and maybe people are looking at the upcoming April 3rd, 4th anniversary date and thinking the sky hasn't fallen.
Yeah, tell us more about that. That's an exciting event coming up this next month.
Oh, our gala?
Yeah.
Well, that would be April. That would be April 6th,
right.
A few days after the anniversary. But we have a great gala. People can go to our website, oneiowa.org. We're celebrating the 4th anniversary of the Varnum decision. We're going to have an incredible speaker. His name is Michelangelo Signorelli. He's a New York writer who wrote one of the most iconic books about LGBT politics and culture. It's called Queer in America. He's also the LGBT person for the Huffington Post, and he's on national radio.
Nice.
He's an iconic figure in the movement, and we're so pleased that he's going to be with us.
Great.
So it'll be a great event. So the One Iowa Gala, people are interested, come to our website. We're having a little problem with our website today, but it'll be up and running this afternoon.
That's interesting because I had a little problem with mine yesterday.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Mine was down for about half the day.
That's hard, isn't it?
Well, anymore, we've taken them for granted, but gosh, websites are like your public face anymore.
Yeah. Well, ours is down for a little makeover. So.
All right. A little makeover for that public face. All right. Donna Redwing, folks, with One Iowa, the executive director, a fantastic organizer, a spokesperson for equality, and a diehard Red Sox fan. And opening day this year, Red Sox versus the Yankees. Gosh, we couldn't have picked a better opening day.
April 1st.
April Fool's Day. No joke, folks. Red Sox and Yankees playing on April Fool's Day.
Well,
who made that schedule?
We're just going to have some chowder and cookie pies, right?
Okay. Can we have some lobster, too?
Oh, that would be nice. Whoever would like to bring the lobster, I'll cook it.
All right. Okay. Donna Redwing, folks. Donna, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Ed. Bye-bye.
All right, folks. We're going to be back soon talking with Heather Ryan about, we're going to talk about a few things, but certainly going to start off with talking about Branstad on Medicaid, the lone man standing on the hill there, battling against Medicaid for the poor, arguing in favor of having to pay more money to cover less people. We're going to talk about why this might make sense at all, but what possibly could be behind this. Anyway, we'll be back in a few minutes on that conversation. I do want to thank Gateway Market for sponsoring this segment of our show. Gateway at 6th. I'm back in the 6th Avenue corridor. Gateway at ML King and Woodland Ave. 20th and Woodland, call it. In the Sherman Hill neighborhood, a great local grocery store. Also with a cafe for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Also a catering service. And again, I have recently discovered not just the great grocery selection, but also seeds, botanical interests. It's a great heirloom seed company, and Gateway has a fantastic selection of seeds that you can buy. And I'm going there later to get me some pepper seeds because it's time for one more tray of stuff to plant. Also, folks, they got flowers, and they'll have bedding plants and stuff for your garden in the very, very near future. Check them out, folks. That's Gateway Market at 20th and Woodland in the Sherman Hill neighborhood. Keep your dollar right here in our local community. I'll be back in a sec.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Community CPA is the 15th largest CPA firm in Iowa, providing audit, tax, and accounting services. Community CPA specializes in international tax treaty and double taxation avoidance among countries and states. 9 dedicated, experienced, hardworking staff are the company's foundation, and their compassion towards every client is the secret behind Community CPA's success. At Community CPA, you can expect quality service year-round. Call 288-3188. Community CPA, 3816 Ingersoll. Experience the difference.
This is Dr. Holding of the Story County Veterinary Clinic. For 15 years, we have been spaying and neutering feral cat groups at affordable prices. Wild cats destroy game birds and songbirds. A single female cat can produce over 4,000 kittens in 7 years. The shelters are full, so unwanted kittens will be put to sleep. Your cats will stay home and stay healthy. Call us for all your dog and cat needs at the Story County Veterinary Clinic between Ames and Nevada on Highway 30, 1 mile east of Interstate 35, 515-232-8766.
Since 1994, Sid's Catering has graced Des Moines area events with quality service and rave reviews. Owner Sid Cohn's culinary career began with a Northeast Iowa vacation home for international clientele. Sid earned a Bachelor of Science in Hotel Restaurant Management and was the assistant clubhouse manager at Des Moines Golf and Country Club. Sid has a passion for fresh, local products and offers a wide range of options, including vegan, gluten-free, and ethnic. Mention the Fallon Forum when you book your breakfast or lunch event and get 10% off. Contact Sid's Catering at 208-2091. That's Sid's Catering at 208-2091.
Local farms, global flavor. That's the secret to Hawk's growing popularity. The best meals begin with the best ingredients, and 90% of Hawk's ingredients come from local farms. In addition to seasonal fruits and vegetables, Hawk features grass-fed beef and lamb and pasture-raised chicken and duck, all raised without hormones, steroids, or cages. The coffee is fair trade, locally roasted, and Hawk's House liquors come from right here in Iowa. Hawk's owners go the extra mile, composting organic waste and recycling. For more information or to make reservations, visit hawktable.com. That's HOQ table.com.
It's time to think about upgrading the efficiency of your furnace and air conditioner. Leonard Tinker Heating and Cooling has provided honest, competent service for over 20 years. Whether it's your home or business, for repair work or to install a more energy-efficient furnace or air conditioner, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422. That's 263-0422. For honest, competent heating and cooling service, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422.
I love driving to Newton to see the races.
Me too, but I only have to drive across town.
You live in Newton?
Yep, Newton's got small town charm and it's close to Des Moines. I love the safe, friendly neighborhoods and family-owned businesses. And Newton's wind energy industry is really taking off.
How'd you find your home?
Dan Kelly with First Choice Realty. And Dan helped me find my office too.
Next time, instead of just speeding by, I'll stop in and check out Newton.
Why don't you check out Newton? Call Dan Kelly at 641-521-9260 or Dan Kelly at mchsi.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm not the guy who cared about love. I'm not the guy.
Max Wellman, folks, and we are back to our conversation. Who's in the studio with me? It's Friday. It would be Heather Ryan. Hey, Heather. How you been?
I'm great.
Good. Hey, this segment of our show is sponsored by Story County Veterinary Clinic. So if you have critters, Heather, you know where to take them.
Story County Veterinary Clinic, obviously.
All right, anyway. We're going to talk, I mean, you may have some other stuff on your mind, but I'm thinking Medicaid. I don't know how much worse can it get for Governor Branstad? And I mean, 88 lobbyists. And some of them representing groups, that individuals, entities that you and I would like,
right,
are all lined up in favor of expanding Medicaid. You know how many lobbyists are on the other side?
I don't. Tell me.
Zero. Nada. No one.
Yeah,
Branstad is by himself on this. It's crazy.
He's like that teenager, that contrary teenager who just says, well, I'm not going to go to the local school. I want to go to the expensive school a long ways away just because you say.
Teenagers are such a problem.
He's like a little baby, like a little contrary baby. No, whoop-woo head, and I'm not going to do anything that the president says to do. It's totally just to be contrary.
There are a bunch of people weighing in on why, and it's a head scratcher because it makes no sense. I mean, basically, when you say no to the federal Medicaid money, you're required to do certain things nonetheless that will cost Iowans more. It will cost state government more money, and the program will cover less people. What person in their right mind wants to do that? Well, apparently nobody is lobbying in favor of it, and 88 people are on the other side.
It's nonsensical. It is absolutely, and of course, it's just so he can say that he opposed the president. It is absolutely.
So what advantage is that? I mean, people are sick of partisan politics. Why would anybody want to say,
they say
I did this
that,
so I could oppose the president?
They say that they're sick of partisan politics, but the fact is they still vote partisan. They still contribute partisan, and he is a partisan.
So, what does he have to gain by this? Is he going to, he's not going to get campaign contributions.
Well, what's he going to lose by it is really the question. Not necessarily what's he going to gain. What's he going to lose? And it's not supporters. He's not going to lose supporters by, poo-pooing anything the president does. And he's not going to lose his own personal health care. This doesn't affect him. He's not the one affected. He's got health care. He doesn't have to worry about being sick and not being able to go to the doctor.
Right.
Those are the poor people, and they don't vote for him anyway.
Yeah.
So what does he have to lose? Nothing.
Well, as one person wrote, he's already double dipping on the state treasury with his current salary and a pension.
And if you were to ask him, he'd say, well, I'm taking a loss by being your governor. I'm making a sacrifice.
Well,
Come on.
I can't even begin to express my gratitude. I served with this guy for 8 years. Let's see, 6 years. I was in the House when he was governor for 6 years. And I do not remember a Terry Branstad that was this horrible. I mean, not just bad on a lot of policy. I mean, remember, this is the same governor that signed the Earned Income Tax Credit
But
The
the
same
earned
governor-
income tax credit is very popular, regardless of whether you're
Well,
Republican
but-
or a Democrat.
But this is a great example of something that's really popular, and he's on the wrong side.
It's popular for you and I because we empathize with people who don't have health care, can't go to the doctor. It's not popular with people who believe that it's better to die. The poor should just die.
How many
and that's
people really believe that?
the Republican debates when somebody said, well, maybe they should just die. One of the candidates.
Yeah, they got all sorts of flack for it.
But
Who was that?
But the audience clapped. And that's where he's
Okay,
coming from.
that's
He's
true.
coming from a
There were
clapping
some
audience.
people in the audience who did frighteningly like that.
Yes, well,
yeah.
maybe they should just die because they really think that it's a privilege.
Do you
that
remember who
people-
said that?
Gosh, I don't remember.
Which crazy was it?
I don't remember. They're all so nutty that I kind of get them mixed up.
Yeah.
Anyway. Maybe Paul. Maybe I
don't think it was Paul.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he has his own version of nutty, but that's not it.
I just remember the reaction from the audience was the clapping, and I'm pretty sure that Terry Branstad was one of those going, "Yeah, that's right, die, people die."
Yeah.
So he doesn't have anything to lose. So that's where he's coming from. It's not necessarily a gain thing.
But he does. I mean, he's I don't think I haven't seen any polling on this, but I can't imagine most Iowans, regardless of whether you love or hate the poor or are indifferent to the poor, I think most Iowans would say, yeah, if the choice is A, take federal money and cover more people, or B, we spend more money from the state revenue, our tax, and we cover less. I mean, that really has got to be a no-brainer.
That's not how he's spinning it, though. He's spinning it, yeah, we have to take the money from them now, but in the future, they may not give us as much money.
But if you ask that poll...
That's just silly.
But if you
That's
ask that
just
question in
silly.
a poll, where are people going to come down? They're going to say...
I would hope that people would use their common sense and say, they're giving us free
I'd say
money.
80-90% of the people would be on
I hope
our
you're right.
side of that issue.
I hope you're right. It just doesn't make sense. We should take the free money and ensure our people and make sure that they've got health care.
See, it makes no sense on so many levels. There's no constituency with deep pockets that's going to reward him with campaign contributions because of this. He's not going to win. I mean, when you're all by yourself and the rest of the world is against you, even if you are the stinking governor,
I
you're not
disagree
going
with
to
you
win.
here. I disagree with
You
you
think he's
because
going to win on this?
I don't think he'll win on this. He won't change his mind. That in that sense, he will win because he won't change his mind and say, "Well, okay, I was wrong," but he will be able to say poo-poo on you, President Obama. I'm not taking your health care. You can just shove it. He'll win on that, and for that he will get accolades from his right-wing nutbags like Steve King.
But he doesn't need right-wing nutcases to win re-election to the office of governor. And I'm not even sure he's running again.
He'll run again. He's not beatable. Totally running.
Well, I know he's not beatable, but he's also
He's got an
up there in
ego this
years.
big. Of course he's going to run again. His
Little guy,
ego.
big ego.
Huge ego.
Yeah.
He's going to run again.
Here's my theory. It's got to the point now where he has to save face. That's tied in with your assessment of his ego. He's come so far down the road of no to federal Medicaid money that he's dug himself into a hole. He can't back out. The Senate those clever senators, they may be giving him a way out. Have you seen what they're doing?
I don't think I have.
They're offering a proposal. This is a draft Medicaid legislation just yesterday. It would allow Iowa to pull out of the expanded Medicaid program if the federal government fails to fulfill its promise to fund 100% of the program for the first 3 years. Again, the promise is that the feds will pay 100% for 3 years, and then it'll drop to 90%. And if the feds are unable to make that commitment, because that's been Branstad's argument. So the Senate Democrats are sharp on this one. They're saying, okay, you say you're afraid, you don't want to do this because the federal government is notorious for not keeping its commitments. Well, all right, let's take you at your word and craft legislation that provides an out if they fail to do that. Which, of course, they're not going to do. I mean, they've never. I can't imagine the federal government would fail on its commitment on a program it's never ever failed before since the 1960s.
The federal government on
this program.
Okay,
on this program.
I was going to say, are we talking about
the federal government
sequestered?
fails all the time.
You know, the one that's sequestered right now. That one.
Is that
what we're talking about?
No, failure and the federal government are almost synonymous in the dictionary. But there are certain places where they don't let the ball drop, and Medicaid is one of them. And part of the reason is you got a huge constituency. Mm-hmm. Old people vote. Poor people don't. But it's all tied together. Medicaid, Medicare.
Yeah, people see it as one and the same. It's very cohesive as far as people see it.
So I think this may be the face-saving measure that Branstad might, tepidly and somehow come around to accept.
He's going to have to, right? I mean,
otherwise,
otherwise he just looks like a gigantic schmuck. I mean, and saying he's going to have to.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the argument that the federal government, we don't trust them to keep their promise. I mean, would you not take road money? I mean, we got a whole bunch
Basically
of road
what he's
money.
saying. That's absolutely what he's saying.
Because the federal government might not be able to provide us the level of commitment for our highways that they have said they would, we're going to decline any money for our roads. Whoa, see how that goes over.
Right. And the same goes for any federal program. How about schools? We don't want any of the money for that either.
Yeah, we don't get as much from the feds for schools, of course.
But some. But we don't want it. We don't want anything for security or anything, just because they're not very trustworthy. Come on now.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about it. The federal budget is a mess, as you just mentioned. Some states, Iowa, our state budget is a lot healthier. There's no doubt about it. But still,
we tend to be more fiscally conservative and slightly more responsible.
And we have a spending limitation law that is very helpful, and that was a bipartisan effort back in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, those 92s. What was that? That was President Clinton's time when he was in.
Well, actually, it was before his first year.
But anyway, let's just reminisce about the 90s.
He was campaigning, yes.
We'll reminisce about the 90s.
But I don't know. This is just a losing proposition for the governor. I hope it comes back to bite him politically.
Here's what I wish. I wish that the health care lobby was as strong as the gun lobby. And then we would not have these issues, because people, I think, are entitled to be healthy. I think that you have a natural right when you're born, that you have to get health care when you need it. So, maybe I'm one of the few. But if the health care lobby was as strong as the NRA and had the backing and the support and the fervor that's always built up around the gun issue, we wouldn't be having this discussion now.
Yeah. Well, there is an element of the healthcare community, I guess, that is very, very effective at lobbying.
Old people?
No. Insurance companies and drug companies.
That's a little bit different. That's not for
extent.
Consumers necessarily.
But I think one reason why we see the Affordable Care Act is milquetoast. Again, I certainly don't support repealing it, and it does have some benefits, some steps forward, but it's a bill that the insurance companies they wrote it.
They wrote it,
right? They
right.
love it. Mm-hmm. That's why their stocks went up the day it was approved.
Right.
So they're very, very powerful.
Yeah, you've got unfunded legislation that's buying their products, and there's nothing the government can do to curb those costs. Yeah, the drug companies love that kind of stuff, but they're not necessarily for us.
So switching gears, Heather, because we've got a little bit of time left, and if you have something else you want to chime in on too, go for it. But one question.
Yeah.
Steve King.
Nut. Crazy, lunatic, absolutely insane, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Weirdo.
I didn't actually finish my question.
I thought you were just asking for a comment
of his mental status, but his political status. Do you think he's going to run for U.S. Senate?
He's absolutely going to run for U.S. Senate.
You think so?
Positive, absolutely.
I'm not convinced.
Why? How can you not be convinced?
Well, because he's not. I really don't think Steve King is nuts. I think he talks nutty. But he's very, very good at connecting with people one-on-one. He knows how to try to steer the conversation in a direction that he can control. His statements on a lot of things are crazy talk.
Okay.
But I don't think he's nutty enough to believe that he can be elected U.S. Senator. I think when he looks at the polling and the details, and he talks to people who are close enough to him and are also politically astute, they're going to say, this is a bad deal, don't try it. Although I hope he does.
Would have said the same thing when he was running for Congress. If they were going to say that now, they would have said that then.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand to reason for me that he even got as far that he's gotten to Congress. I mean, that's just beyond my comprehension. Who is electing this crazy lunatic? So the fact that he's gotten there, it's not going to stop him from going up the Senate.
You think he's going to run?
Absolutely.
So in that case, we already know the lay of the land in the U.S. Senate.
Not only is he going to run, but he's going to make it past the primary. I mean,
well, he will win the primary. If he runs, he'll win the primary.
Exactly. So I don't know what you mean. Of course, he's going to run, and he's going to win the primary.
Doesn't mean squat if you don't win the general, and I don't think he can beat
Braley.
It means
a lot. It means a lot for his name recognition first and foremost, is because he'll get this statewide name recognition in a very
to what end?
So
he's no longer going to be a congressman, and he'll lose a race for the U.S. Senate.
So maybe he'll run for Braindead's position in governor.
I don't think Steve King can win statewide office. I think he is too extreme to do that.
I hope you're right, because we're not in Mississippi, but I fear that one day we will wake up and the headline will be King wins something big, and it scares me. Yeah. I have nightmares about that. I mean, King is a scary, ferocious demon, and it scares me that he might be our representative in Iowa. We're supposed to be progressive. We're not supposed to be like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs like Steve King. Yeah. So if he can make it past the primary, and I think he can.
I agree with that, but I don't think he's going to get any further than that.
Of course, I think he'll run a strong campaign. You've got so many nutbags that are out there that are going to give him tons of money from out of state, and that's going to make it a really visceral
But the Republican Party is torn right now, and there will be a huge bunch of money on the other side trying to pick an opponent to King that they feel will give Braley an actual challenge. But I think they can pump as much money into that candidate's coffers as they want. They still won't win because King has a lock on the base that tends to vote in Republican primaries.
Absolutely.
So, I think you're wrong. I actually hope you're right. I hope he does run, but I'm just being candid, honest. I don't think he will, because I think he's smart enough, despite the crazy talk, to know that it's not going to pan out very well in the general election.
I hope you're right.
All right. Well,
I hope I'm wrong.
Right. Any last thoughts from you, Heather?
Well, I look forward to next week.
Just call you your daughter's name.
Next week, I want to talk about how the Des Moines Public Schools are putting more police officers in our schools, and that infuriates me. So I can't wait to rant next week.
Well, a police officer in every classroom. Doesn't that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't.
No? All right,
Healthcare for all makes sense to me.
All right. Well, you talk about crazy talk. What is that all about? Healthcare for all. Go back to communist Russia, where you came from.
Yeah, okay, I'll make sure.
People like you who make me want to move to Canada.
If I caught a plane to communist Russia, that would increase my carbon footprint, and it would make you upset. I don't want to do that.
Okay. My bike would be very upset.
Exactly.
All right. Heather Ryan, folks, thanks for joining us. Heather.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, I'll be back on Monday, folks. In the meantime, have a great weekend. And I want to thank Story County Veterinary Clinic for sponsoring this segment of our show. Yep, you got critters. Kim Holding's got the way to fix them for you. She recently shot at my cat. My cat was pretty pleased with it all. Anyway, no rabies, no feline viral leukemia, all those good things taken care of with one fell swoop. Kim has been doing this for 32 years. She knows what she's doing. She's affordable. She's located on Highway 30, just east of Ames, between Ames and Nevada. So check her out, folks. That's Story County Veterinary Clinic on Highway 30. Again, thank you, Maddie Arrington, my wonderful producer, for putting this show together for me. Also, thanks to Webcast One Live for providing the studio. And thank you. You've been a wonderful audience, as always.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershad.
I'm administrative manager.
I'm the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed rider it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now, and then leave, and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take